I'll talk about.
Government sucking at everything they do. Oh, what up? We live.
Yeah, perfect thing to open up on, right?
Welcome back to Derailed. We got Magnus back with us. No big intro. Magnus is working on growing his grift. So y'all definitely follow him on Twitter and then check out his YouTube channel, Unity or Death. He's got some great shows on there. His show this morning was awesome. So you definitely want to check that out. Had a Black Panther who marched with the KKK because apparently unity is something that is achievable even back in the day.
Yeah,
What up, Magnus?
Reverend Andy is like legendary. The fact that like so many people on the left like get mad at her and like call her like fake and that like she sold out and everything like that because she marched with the Klan, and it's like this woman's been an activist for like 50 years. Like, shut up.
Yeah, like you all. It makes me think of that bit that Jon Stewart had on I think it was like the Daily Show or whatever that show was he had back in the day. The one that Trevor Noah took over.
Oh yeah,
and
the unfunniest man in the world, Trevor Noah.
Yeah, that little fucking gremlin. Like, but Jon Stewart did this bit one time about like, I think it was like the New Hampshire primary or something, and they're like, "Oh, Michelle Bachmann came in fourth or whatever," and he's like, "What about third?" Like, and it was Ron Paul,
right?
And he's like, "All that fucking freedom, grass you people are talking about, he planted the seed." Like, so that's what I think about, like, with her, is like, she's the one that did this, man. You people wouldn't even be here without her. Like, shut up, that's funny to me. So Old and Chief has been in office a little over 100 days now, and he decided to go talk to Congress. I don't know if you saw it. It was hilarious.
Oh, I can't. Just like I couldn't watch Trump, I can't watch these old fucking boomers pontificate from a podium about shit they're not going to do. But I've heard that it was a slow-moving train wreck.
It was a very slow-moving train wreck. It was hilarious, though. Like, lots of good material and memes have come from it, so that's always a good thing. But and now he's banning menthol cigarettes.
Right? Yeah. Now it's I don't even, and like the cope around it is so absurd to me. Of like I posted a whole status about it, of these people that are like, oh, it's just a ban on manufacturing, he's not making possession illegal, it still would have been worse under Trump. And it's like, oh, stop. Like, Kamala Harris not 7 days ago explicitly said that they were not looking to immediately decriminalize marijuana because they were too busy.
Yeah, well, they're too busy making sure that black brothers can't get their menthols, can't get their cools.
And it's so much worse than that. And the fact that people are focusing on the menthol is kind of devious, because they also are banning cigarillos and blunt wraps.
I know. Yeah, no, I know.
Potheads of the world fucking unite and riot. Like, are you kidding me?
Any flavored tobacco product or paper product is what they're banning.
Is absurd, because that's all your blunt wraps, which again, that's so like, that's pissing everybody off, and it's ridiculous to me. And again, like the cope of like, oh, it's just the manufacturing. So it's like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you how this goes, because I have a little thing called history and what they did to marijuana. First, they banned the manufacture of hemp and cannabis, and then from like the legitimate like industry people, then people started doing it at home, which is what they'll do with menthol cigarettes. They'll be homemade menthol cigarettes, though that's considered manufacturing. So they're going to want to go after them as well, but they're harder to find because they're small criminal organizations, just like with marijuana. So then they're going to start arresting you for possession to try to figure out where you are getting it from.
Yep.
This is the same slippery slope of the government on everything that they ban. This is their MO. So it's
this is what they do. Like, I tweeted out like, oh, the next Waco is going to be over menthol cigs.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous too. Of like, oh well, it's not going to end up in like a possession ban, and it's like you don't think that some rapper isn't going to pay like $300 for a pack of like homemade Newports just for the clout of it? Like,
of course he is, man.
it's gonna
Of course
happen.
he is.
It's gonna happen. So just like shut up. Like you don't get it, and it's just the Biden cope, like the desperate Biden cope, and it's even worse than like the Trump or the Obama cope because I think they can tell that like the populace is revolting against the concept of Biden, including the left. Like I guarantee that at least like a third of the left is more militantly anti-Biden than people on the right are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these shills know, and they're like desperate. They're utterly desperate. And the fact that like AOC isn't even surviving this, like AOC is getting burned by the left right now. And you see
she fucking deserves it.
And yeah, and you see her simps like desperately trying to cling on to like, oh well, she's trying her best, and people are over it, and they're losing it. And the more irrelevant they become, the more desperate they become.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to me because like during his speech or whatever, he like laid out like, fuck, dude, it was like $6 trillion worth of spending for like the next year.
Which hyperinflation's already hitting people. Like,
oh my god, dude! Do you know how expensive lumber is right now?
Lumber, gas,
steel, gas,
all the commodities, all of the hard commodities are jumping. Which like people are like, oh, the prices are going up, and it's actually way worse than that. The prices aren't going up in terms of relativity. The prices are exact same.
No, your dollar is worth a lot less.
The buying power of your dollar is going down. And that's scarier. Okay, when oil goes up, that means there's some commodity market bullshit going on. That's why your gas is more expensive. Right now, the gas costs the same amount it always does. It's just the value of the money buying is becoming less. That's way scarier. And
that's
even like normie,
that's way harder to deal with.
Even normie Tim Pool and stuff, and like normal people are talking like, is this hyperinflation? Are we going to start buying bread with like wheelbarrows of dollar bills? And it's like, yes,
that's what's happened.
That's the best. That's the best part of being poor, though, is I have no savings, so they can't steal nothing from me. Haha.
I got you, bastard.
And then him announcing the 49% capital gain tax or something like that.
Dude, what the fuck? That's gonna crash the stock market, you idiot.
Well, the thing is that I guarantee this is my conspiracy, and a lot of other people also feel like this is true. That's directly targeted at crypto because they have no other means to tax crypto besides capital gains.
Yeah,
it's the only way to get their fingers in that pie at all. And then right around the same time that Bitcoin is flying towards $1 million freaking dollars, pretty much. That's when they're just skyrocketing the capital gains tax because they could increase. Well,
Bitcoin was at like over 60,000. They announced that, and then Bitcoin just plummeted.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it's targeted for.
But it went. But they intended to like, hey, all you rich people that we like, get your money out of there, right? And then everyone else is going to get burnt when they try to have to sell or whatever because we've devalued the dollar so much that these people are going to have to sell off their Bitcoin assets or their Ethereum or whatever.
Yeah, because like if it was about funding their programs or taxing the rich or anything like that, they could go for property tax, inheritance tax, income tax, corporate tax. Like they had so many other angles that'd be more effective to attack that from like a left-wing perspective.
Yeah.
But the fact that they specifically narrowed in on capital gains almost guarantees to me that it was targeted at cryptocurrency because they know that everybody's jumping off the ship and they're trying to catch as many rats they can before they all get off.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, that and the other thing is they like that, you know, these cryptos have turned a bunch of the it's turned a bunch of poors into rich.
Unacceptable.
And that shit's not acceptable. You're not allowed to do that. What are you doing? What are you doing over here? You poor? Get back in your spot.
Yeah, why are you making money? That's not acceptable. Oh, I just started taking CBD and it's like great, but it also makes me yawn.
That's all right.
Yes.
My wife uses these CBD patches on like pain patches.
I need
for real bad. When she's like sore, you know what I mean? And they actually like really, really work very well. I mean, so that's good.
I need to get on that real bad. New episode upload. I was on the Volunteerist podcast and they were talking about, oh, you can find let me post your link tree, and it like dawned on me that I'm like 2 weeks behind on uploading my podcast to everywhere else, and I'm like, fuck. So that's why I'm in the middle of doing it right now.
Nice.
Oh no, I only have one episode on my Castbox and Spotify. Big sad. So
yeah, I've got to get approval. I don't have anything on Castbox. I've never even tried.
Castbox is really good because it's free and you can RSS it to other places.
Oh, that's nice. Maybe that's what I should set up. Zanzibar is waving in the chat. I'm sure that's for you.
I'm assuming that's the Zanzibar from Twitter, one of the Aloha boys. By the way, Senior Zanzibar and any other boogs that are lurking around, Spike's talking about doing a official protest for Duncan because the anniversary one fell apart. So yeah, Spike wants to get
that'll be dope.
That's huge. So let's fucking go.
Yeah,
Maryland. We're going to Maryland.
Yeah, definitely got to put that up. Spike was on
Olivia's show.
He says it's for both of yous.
It's for both of you.
Yeah, he was on Olivia's show. I was just starting to watch it a little while ago. I have to finish it up later.
Yeah, I'm
tomorrow,
I'm 34 minutes into it because I listen on 2x speed. I swear to God, everybody thinks I'm kidding. I don't. Like I listen.
I don't think you're kidding.
I listen to every YouTube video on 3x speed.
Yeah,
because if people talk too slow from my brain, I need it faster.
Speed it up, bastards. Did you get to listen to the last show with Mark?
No, I didn't. I'm still catching up on that because I had to research all sorts of shit for people. I'm so scared. It's so annoying that I have to be like, oh, this person invited me on their show. I have to go watch like a bunch of their work to make sure that I'm like not accidentally going on like a Nazi strip show or something. So frustrating.
Yeah, that can happen. It is easier when other people that you know are like, yeah, that's an okay show. You know what I mean? That makes it a lot easier.
Right.
Like I get these people that are like, "Oh, you come on my show," and I'm like, "I don't know who you are."
Oh, I mean, I might be spilling the beans a little bit, but fuck it. He loves me anyways. David, he got emailed from a flat earther that wants to come on his Fight for Liberty show.
He absolutely has to let that happen.
I'm like, David, do it. Let me be a co-host, please. I want it so bad.
I would. That would be so fun. If just throwing this out there, if there's any of you flat earthers you want to come on my show, please do.
Oh, that'll be great. I have a globe flag literally behind me. Let's go.
Magnus and I promise, Magnus will co-host and will be very nice to you.
Oh yeah, I'll be super charitable. I'll just probably make fun of you, but
that's what I meant.
It'll be polite making fun of you, if that makes sense.
I never get stuff. The people that like want to come on my show, like, they're genuinely like people from Twitter or whatever, and they want to come on to like argue with me and tell me I'm wrong about shit. And I'm like,
debate me. No.
I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't follow you. The people that I do follow don't follow you. Like, no, I'm good.
We had a lot of fun. I sicked the Tower Gang on this one guy because Jimmy Dore shared a tweet from Lauren Boebert, and his replies were just fucking toxic, weaponized, lethal, weapons grade cringe. And I shared it, and this dude popped in. He's like, "So you're okay with allying with Nazis?" And
who's the Nazi here? Jimmy Dore or Lauren Boebert?
Yeah, no, Lauren Boebert.
Okay.
It's like, okay. And I got like 44 different people to just respond in nothing but gifts, and he eventually like went away. It was so entertaining. I got all the Tower Gang people.
That's awesome. Lauren Boebert's not a Nazi. Like, I don't.
I think she's a dumb conservative in a lot of ways, but she's not a Nazi.
Yeah, she might be dumb, but she's not She's not Nazi. Like, I think stuff like that gets thrown around so much now, it's lost all meaning.
Oh yeah, especially when like there's more actual like Nazis now than there were like 4 years ago, but you'd never fucking be able to tell because everyone's a Nazi. It's like, God damn it.
Everybody's a Nazi. I've been called a progressive and a right-wing Nazi in the same day. Like, I'm like, cool, I guess. Just because, like, I don't give a shit about your nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand.
Right. I'm above your guys' bullshit. I'm not parallel to it at all.
I'm with you, Zanzibar. She is very good on 2A.
She is a closet boog when it comes to 2A because
yeah.
she does those congressional meetings where she just puts guns like over every single fucking square area behind her.
And triggers the shit out of those people.
It's so good. And people are like, it's cringe. I'm
she's
like,
got like the crossed rifles, 2 ARs, and then like a 45.
On her bookshelf, she's got like a shotgun like half falling off. It's like, yes. That's blue energy. I need to turn my green screen off because it's freaking my computer out right now.
It's so funny to me because people like when she'll have pictures like that or whatever, she does her meetings or whatever, and they'll be like, most people put books on their bookshelves, and I'm like, you really are not owning her the way you think you are. Like,
I don't care.
She's who needs to read a book when you have?
Are you trying to tell me what I can and can't put on my bookshelf, you fascist?
Enjoy the dumpster fire, embrace the downfall. Nice. Yeah, that's kind of one of the things. Like, one of the things Biden said was like, "We the people," and he points out at Congress, and he's like, "That means us, we the government." I'm like, wow.
He literally said that?
Yes, dude. Yes.
Talk about saying the quiet part out loud.
I know. I'm like, oh shit. And then it's just like, no one said anything. I'm like, wait, what? And then another point, he's like, we have to work with private industry. We have to work together and group up. And I'm like, that's called fascism.
Yeah, that's a textbook definition.
Like, don't take my word for it. Mussolini said that. I'm just saying. Like, although he did say we shouldn't call it fascism, we should call it corporatism. But you know. Yeah, he straight up said that, dude. Plus, you don't need 100 rounds to hunt deer because they're not wearing Kevlar vests.
Joke's on you. I have green tips, which is a felony in Kentucky.
The joke
I did not know that.
He stole that joke from Robin Williams, first and foremost. And second of all, a Kevlar vest doesn't stop a 5.56. You fucking moron.
No, it wouldn't. But either way, I have, like I said, I have green tips, which I was not aware it was a felony when I brought like 200 of them to Kentucky.
Oops.
Whoopsies. I was rolling real dirty around Louisville and was not even aware of it. That was fun.
Well, you didn't get caught, so it's all good.
I don't think they would have ever. That's the thing, is I just don't ever think they'll roll a boog event like ever, because like
I think they're terrified.
You like usually their whole MO is they would hit like activists after the event when they go back to their Airbnb.
Yeah.
When we're back at the Airbnb, we're all pissed drunk and making illegal machine guns and shit. You definitely don't want to come back.
That's the worst time.
The worst time.
What do you think about what's going on in what is it, Elizabethtown?
Oh,
dude, they're being a bunch of punks over there.
That's people are seeing like how these BLM and anti-fascist marches would happen if they were peaceful, because it's not always the case. There's no such thing as an absolute, but definitely people are like, oh, well, if you were just peaceful, the police would have left you alone.
They're being peaceful.
Like 6.5 out of 10 times. No, like you're still going to get your fucking head caved in, because these people were harmless. They were doing nothing. They were standing on the side of the road with signs yelling, and then the police put in an arbitrary curfew and then went and arrested a bunch of them and pulled guns on a bunch of both of them, and were chasing journalists, and Ford Fisher had to jump in a fucking car and flee the area because they were trying to arrest him and shit. And it's like, here you go, dude. Like, there you go. This is where we're at now. Like
it doesn't matter.
This is the Biden administration. They don't want street protests anymore. They want you to go
This
away.
is Biden's America.
Yeah. You were a convenient tool to Trump while Trump was in office, and now the establishment does not want you around.
Yeah. Now you gotta fucking piss off. I was just shit posting and trolling Twitter or whatever, and I got all these people, like even lefties, right, that were like, "Well, I mean, there's a curfew," and I'm like, "What the fuck planet do you live on? Dude, like, what do you mean there's a curfew? You're an adult. Eat shit."
That's the one.
You know, fuck your curfew.
Yeah, that's the one thing where I feel like it is unacceptable and does not apply in like 90% of situations. Fuck a curfew. It is totally unconstitutional in every single form or fashion. I don't care. I can go where I want and do whatever I want. Blow me.
Whenever you want. At whatever time of day or night that it is.
You know, I didn't even know about this. The Louisville people put it onto me. But like 9 months ago, there was a botched police raid at a gas station like a mile away from the protest, where the police just decided to raid this gas station, and they showed up and just like pepperballed and tear gassed a bunch of people and then shot and killed a dude. And it was
what?
Because there was a bunch of people at the gas station, and this was in the middle of the like first 3 days of the Breonna Taylor protests. But I don't know if anyone else has lived in the inner city, but on the weekends, any gas station, particularly if it's a gas station or a liquor store, has like 15 fucking cars in the parking lot. That's just how it is in the hood. That's every gas station. Yeah, because people will come out and go and buy their alcohol and stuff, and then they'll like chill in the parking lot for like 30 to 45 minutes because their friends are also coming to get their liquor, and it's Saturday night.
Just chilling, hanging out.
Yeah, it becomes like a temporary kind of like watering hole for people. So that's like Detroit, Chicago, every inner city I've lived in. That's just how it is. But the police were like large gathering of people at this gas station, and they just showed up and shot and killed somebody and like tear gassed a bunch of people.
Jesus Christ.
And it was so bad to where the dude they shot and killed was like a restaurant owner who was even liked by the police, and like police showed up to his funeral like fucking crying their eyes out and shit. And it's like, wow. And Vice just put out a documentary about it.
That's wow.
And it's like, and again, wasn't even a protest. It was just some people hanging out at a fucking liquor store at like 11 o'clock at night. And it's like after curfew.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, that's man. And like, screw your fucking curfew. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like,
that's one thing I'll never recognize. I don't recognize a lot of laws, but curfew in general, it's like
that's a retarded ass law. Like no. Last night, well, I watched it today, or listened to it today, but last night, Tim Pool had Jack Murphy on, which he has on like every other Wednesday or some shit like that.
Can we get rid of the Jack Murphy arc and bring back the fucking Luke Wachowski arc?
I'm fairly certain they would like to do that, but Luke was like, "Well, you pinned me down here for like a month. Fuck off, I'm out." And now he's gone.
I think that Luke just does whatever the fuck he wants. I don't think he fucking pinned down at all.
He don't care. Yeah. He's like, well, this has been fun. I'm out.
Bring Luke back. I miss Luke.
Yeah, I miss Luke. Luke was based as fuck.
Yeah. Now they got all these
but Jack said something that was pretty base last night. He was like, look, the Second Amendment's like, it's fucking very clear. It can't be infringed. If we can figure out how to build a nuclear weapon and have it, we should be allowed to. And I'm like, holy fuck.
I love the radicalization on the Second Amendment is so real.
That's the best thing that's happened to Tim Pool and his entire show. Like, he's like, and he'll fight with Ian or whatever,
Right. It's not that I like hate Jack. It's just Jack's very set in his conservative boomer con MAGA.
Yeah.
But I mean, he hits the nail on the head on plenty of things. But conservatives are like 50% right about most shit. It's just the things that they're wrong about. They're really wrong about.
Yeah.
But Luke like is one of my original influences. I was watching Luke back in like 2010 and shit. Like Luke's old school in this, and Luke is an anarchist. So it's like,
yep.
Of course, I empathize more with Luke than I do, fucking MAGA beard, walk away, bro. But he's all right.
What
pisses me off though is I'll never be like a don't platform those kind of people. Like I'm not that at all. But that cop that Tim had on that one episode where he was excusing Daniel
Tatum,
Shaver and
Brandon Tatum or whatever.
Yeah, he excused Daniel Shaver. He excused what was I always fucking blank on his name. He was a black guy that got shot reaching for his license because he had a gun in the car. And fucking
Oh yeah, well that's no fucking reason to shoot someone.
Yeah, like
he's allowed to have a gun in his car.
He was bootleg. He was like, that one was bad, but to be fair, he reached for the glove box real fast. I'm like, fuck you, cop. Like, oh my god, you guys literally can't think outside of a team.
Yeah, that was it. Zanzibar
that episode
had it.
pissed
Officer
me off.
Tatum, Officer Brandon Tatum.
Yeah,
but you know what pisses me off too?
Off.
He's a mad grifter because he's not a fucking cop anymore.
Well, I mean, that's what all the cop YouTubers do. That's Donut Operator. It's all.
Yeah, but Donut Operator's at least funny.
Yeah, he's funny. Even though I want to say,
not funny.
I find you very entertaining, Donut, and you're part of the 2A community, and I like that about you. But we were promised that UPS video like a year and a half ago. And I wonder why that was the one. I wonder why that was the one you didn't want to talk about. I'm just curious. Has anything to do with the fact that they just killed a bunch of random fucking pedestrians? Because there was no way to spin it to make the cops look good. Is it possibly any of the reason why you skipped making that video? Just saying.
Yeah, I can't take all this shit like the Elizabethtown shit. Like I don't know what happened. Like they haven't released any video of it. So all you got to go on is like
30 seconds of it.
Oh, did they? Okay, well, I haven't seen it, but it's like, I mean, what does the cops always say? And you know, these fucking tools always say, well, if you don't have anything to hide, right? So release the video, like all of it.
Yeah, they're never afraid to release the video immediately when it exonerates them.
Right, with what's her face over there in Columbus.
There's a dozen examples where people are like ready to go, and then the video release, and it was like, oh, never mind. But then like whenever it's iffy, it's like, oh well, we're reviewing the data and we're blurring out people. It's like, shut up.
But no, you're not.
You didn't blur out any of those girls' videos in that knife attack. You didn't blur out any of their faces. No. You just dropped.
They dropped that thing immediate because they're like, whoa, before you burn shit down, like pay attention.
But that's their excuse in Elizabethtown is they're redacting people's faces, and it's like,
I could edit that out, and I'm a fucking boomer. That shit would already be released.
Seriously, yeah, they're full of shit.
I mean, in that situation, given America right now in the turmoil that we're going through, that thing would have been released about 45 minutes after it happened.
Yeah, that dude literally, like, that should be like the first thing is that officer gets thrown in a fucking police cruiser and flown back to the goddamn station, and that gets plugged into a computer immediately and uploaded to the internet, like unedited, raw. Yeah. Like
here it is. This is what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
I've
that's
joked
what happened in Columbus.
I've joked, if anything, they should be on all the time and constantly live stream to the fucking.
That's not a joke to me.
Yeah,
I literally think.
Well, I mean, obviously, like you can't expect them to do their job when you can check in where any cop is at any time. You can kind of.
That's fair.
But like,
you don't have to give their position away.
You do the big ask, you know. You do the Trump idea. You do the big ask and get the
big ask, and then hope
live stream all police officers all the time.
Hell yeah, bro! I think it'd be hilarious, like, because you have all these cop shows or whatever, like that one on A&E, they canceled it, which was ridiculous to me. Like canceling the cop show because of the whole George Floyd thing was like really fucking stupid to me. I'm like, why? Just keep showing your cop show. That, you know, people will still watch it. They'll still be like, oh, okay, well, you are really the nightmare we think you are. But no, I think it'd be cool to have it like 24 hours, like it's just live. You can just go and watch whatever your cops are doing.
I mean, that's pretty much what live PD was in a way. So
yeah, like, but they could check in and out whenever they wanted, and you know, that's
like proof of concept.
They can go, well, oh, that's a kind of a bad scene. Let's not show that.
Right, one, but like just saying, as like a proof of concept, it's not impossible. The idea of it.
Right. I think if I was like a sheriff, I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna figure out how to like upload and live stream our shit.
Well, yeah, the sheriff's department is just very different than the police department, and the police fuck up like 100 times harder than the sheriffs do, just for the fact that
they're not accountable.
Yeah, the sheriffs are electable. Obviously, they're not perfect; they still do awful shit all the time, but it's way better. And that kind of like, I tried to upload it to Twitter and it wouldn't let me. I tried like 13 times, but I posted a rant about the difference between the original American sheriff system and the current police system. And that when you go back to like colonial America and like up to like the 1800s and like the Wild West and stuff like that, when you look at what a sheriff was responsible to do, a sheriff and his deputies, it was mediation, defense of the town and to bounty hunt like serious criminals.
Yeah.
That's all
that
they
was
did.
their entire job.
That's all they did. The concept of modern policing, where you have gangs of people that roam around looking to enforce laws on strangers, that comes from the Fugitive Slave Patrol.
Yeah,
that never existed before slave patrols. So when the I know a lot of the conservatives cringe when they're like, oh, when BLM people say like, policing comes from slave catching. They're like,
it does.
It literally does. The
That's a real thing.
The sheriff's department doesn't. The sheriff's department filled a completely different role. But what the police do now is born out of slave catching, period. Because the sheriff would just sit in his office until someone came in and was like, Sheriff, this guy stole my horse. He was like the
fire department.
Yeah.
He came when he was called.
Yeah. You would go to the sheriff for help. The sheriff would not just wander through the town giving people tickets
trying to find out like, oh, so you got a beer in your hand? Well, time to give you a ticket for that because you're in public.
And then they would do bounty hunting for serious criminals, but they were expect a purely defensive for the community organization. They were not law enforcement, and you were expected to defend yourself. They just defended the community. And
I'm a big fan of us going back to that.
Yeah, we could easily go back to that. It's not
that difficult. Just abolish the police. Like I've had a lot of people go, "Oh, well, you can't. The sheriff was elected. You can't abolish him." No one said that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the sheriff.
Abolish the police. That's not a sheriff. The sheriff's department is a completely different thing.
Yeah, cut the laws.
But if you do abolish all the police, the sheriff's department's gonna be like, "Oh shit."
Abolish the police, reform the laws extremely, and revitalize the sheriff's department. And then go for some reforms on the sheriff level. Boom, there you go. Yeah. That's my moderate acceptance. Like that's where I'm full like privatize, abolish all policing whatsoever. But that would be something I'd be like, okay, I'll take that,
I'll accept like a small sheriff's department that's their job is defend the community from marauders.
Right. It's funny because the U.S.
I don't know that we're going to have marauders, but do that.
Right. It's funny because how the U.S. Marshals operate now is what like the entire police institution was in the United States in like the 1800s.
And also, I would add that based on the Constitution, the U.S. Marshals are the only federal policing branch that's actually constitutional.
Right. Because all the marshals do is they hang out until they get a bounty to go and like arrest somebody. That's the same fucking thing that the sheriff's department did. They would sit in their rusty fucking, Wild West sheriff's department with a 2-person cell, and that's the only thing to do. And they would just wait for people to come and complain to them, and then they go and solve problems.
Yep.
Yeah. They would not patrol, which is where the acronym COP comes from. Is constable. Constable is not a police. Constable is a tax collector, like. Constable on patrol is cop. So like even the concept of cop is a English import that has nothing to do with protecting the community. It is code enforcement. That's what constables did. So it's
I don't.
History's hard though.
Gross. Well, I mean it's really hard when you just use that supercomputer in your pocket to like shit post on Twitter and look at porn
and yell at each other, call each other Nazis and commies.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of them are commies.
God, so. I hate when fucking somebody's tagging me into a Twitter fight right now, and I'm like, no.
I don't like to tag you into Twitter fights. I like to tag you into just messed up shit. I tagged you. I tagged you earlier so you could look at some big old breasticles.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, I was trying to help you out, man. I was like, Magnus. He needs to smile.
It's always the lefties getting in arguments with people who hate Jimmy Dore, and then all of a sudden they'll like I'll get like, you mean this guy? He's not. And it's like, fuck. There goes my notifications for the next 2 hours. It's 2 people I don't even know argue over whether or not I'm a Nazi. Like, fuck.
I would just immediately mute the entire conversation.
I usually do.
I'm not doing this. I got shit
that's why I shared that post. It's the Family Guy meme, and it's like me dropping what's the exact wording? Me dropping a very problematic opinion and then muting the thread. And it's like, that's me.
Yeah.
Like whenever there's a gun control post, I just immediately go on there and like post pictures of ATF agents getting shot and then mute the thread. Job's done. My public service has been accomplished.
That's funny. Oh man, I usually try not to argue with people. Like I try to piss them off on Twitter, but not like actually straight up argue with them because it's kind of useless. They don't get it. I did pick a fight with someone today because he like was saying about something about really dangerous people or some stupid shit or whatever, and he named like I don't know, like fucking Stalin, Hitler, Mao, and then he named like Charles Manson and David Koresh, and I'm like, David Koresh, really? That's the one you want to go with? And he's like, well, he was a pervert. Okay.
According to the government,
he was a pervert. That had nothing to do with why they went there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that was manufactured.
And he's like, no, I don't support what happened at Waco. You literally just did. He just said that he was a dangerous person, but he wasn't. Like, okay, he wanted to have a bunch of. He was a polygamist. He's a cult leader, sure, but he wasn't killing anyone. He wasn't harming anyone. Like, fuck off, you idiot. You know what I mean? So to put him on the same list as like Hitler, I just was like, wow, there's something wrong with you. You brainwashed little fuck.
People got poison in their brains.
It's a mind virus, and it's everywhere. It's not like I'll say that like, oh, this person has a mind virus, and these people will go, oh yeah, it's the left, and I'm like, no.
Y'all are just as bad.
Yeah, this shit is it's everywhere. Like I don't know what you're talking about, you fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, I mean, I shared out that a perfect example of the mind virus. I'm looking at it right now of the Michael Malice tweet where he's like, which of these organizations would you be most comfortable describing as a terrorist organization? And the 4 he has is the ATF, Antifa, the NRA, and the GOP. And
it's easy. That's ATF and the GOP.
Yeah, that's right.
And he should add the DNC.
Right. I mean, you could just combine them. They're the same thing. You know?
Yeah.
But the fact that Antifa won that, it's like, dude, do you guys? You don't. I just even if you hate, even if you vehemently hate Antifa and you think they are all dumb, evil people that want nothing but the worst for you, and they all commit violence, and they're all rapists and drug addicts, whatever. You can believe all of that.
Still not as bad as the ATF.
1,000 of them, 10,000 of them, 100,000 of them are a fraction as dangerous as the FBI, as the ATF, as the police, as the U.S. federal government. They're not even in the same fucking universe. Okay.
No.
And the same thing goes with white supremacists. 10 neo-Nazis or 10 anti-fascists or 10 3%ers, or you pick your group, it does not matter, could show up to this house and I can fend them off with a rifle.
Yeah.
2 ATF agents can show up, and if I fend them off, then they come back with 100, and then they come back with tanks, and then they just drive a fucking bomb drone into my house and kill me.
They literally drive a tank into your house and light you shit on fire.
Yeah, light me on fire and kill me. So which one of those is the threat here?
Yeah, ATF's definitely worse.
Who's putting me in jail? Who's killing me? Who's stealing my money? Who's spying on me? It's not the fucking college anarchists in black hoodies with fucking communist hammer and sickle flags. They're not doing that to you. So it's ridiculous.
See, I've never been one of those guys that gives a shit about Antifa. Like, I don't like people that try to get their point across using violence. I don't think that's an effective way to do it. I think it is a necessary evil sometimes, but as long as you're on the defensive, I don't like the idea of being offensively violent. Although, I mean, this country was founded that way. You know, I don't care about Antifa because fucking they're not going to come to my house. Or if they do, they're only coming once.
Yeah, they're the smallest of fish. Same with the Proud Boys. Same with the militias. Same thing with the Boogaloo. All of us are infinitesimally less threatening to any group than the federal government is. Period. It's just it's a fact of fucking science and math. Like you can't argue that to me. So
like
the
if
fact
Antifa
that
shows up to my house, I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is about to happen.
Yeah,
It'd be the same if it was the Boogs or the Proud Boys or white nationalists or whatever. I'm like, okay, this is about to happen.
And the fact that 51 of like Michael Malice's like million or something Twitter followers voted Antifa over the ATF.
That's insane to me.
Bro, the amount of people that call themselves anti-fascists in the entire history of this country, the amount of people they have killed is a decimal compared to the
insignificant.
Compared to the fucking people are like, 13 people died in the BLM riots. I'm like, that's a day in the ATF.
I would imagine if you put it all together, all of it, it's probably like somewhere of the scale of like Waco, but all together.
Yeah, like across the country, every single day, somebody probably gets killed by the ATF or at least put in a cage for the rest of their life.
Oh, guaranteed put in a cage.
Every day.
Yeah. I mean, but I did see something. I think it might have been Jeremy Todd. I don't know who it was, but they were like, oh, there's only like 1,790 ATF, full-time ATF agents. It's like, we could take them out with my Twitter friends. I'm like, no, you can't. you don't
That's the thing.
have the shit they have.
Just because
they're going to call in backup.
Yeah, just because they're separate agencies doesn't mean that they're not tied. Like,
no, they're all one agency.
Tip to butt with the FBI, with the marshals, with DHS, with CIA.
And they can call in the National Guard, and
which goes to show when they raided the Yankee Boogle people, the people that were 3D printing machine guns and selling them.
Yeah.
The force that showed up to their house was state troopers, local police, ATF, DEA, and an FBI agent.
Yeah.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah, it's all the same team, man. Like, it doesn't mean anything. These fucking people just drive me insane.
They just don't get what the fuck is happening. They're confused.
It's a weird situation.
Or as one of my best friends Misty puts it, they need to get off the internet and buy a plant or something and just think about what they're doing.
Yes.
Buy a plant.
Yes. If they're a boog, don't buy a dog. If they're not a boog, buy a dog. Get a dog.
If you are a gun owner, I hope you don't have pets. I'm sorry to say. Maybe a ferret.
I own a lot of guns, and I do have a dog.
I'm really sorry for your lost comrade. It's only a matter
she's really old. She's probably going to pass, in the next. She's actually quite a bit older than she really should be, but if you take care of them, they live longer.
Yeah, they don't care.
But I won't be replacing her. I know that. Because, this shit's going to get wild. And when it does, I don't want anyone killing my dog.
Right. That's the only reason I don't own one. But I do have to do a couple more things. So I was glad I could pop in for a second. But I am going to bounce out. But
all right, my man.
Not next week, but maybe the week after that. I kind of want to do a special episode where it's just all of my weird friends. So it's just going to be you, David, Stacia, like Ace, like just all of my Twitter friends. And we'll just have a special episode on my podcast where we just do what we did right now and just fuck around and bitch and joke. I'll try to get Olivia on that. We'll all just be on the same show. It'll be cool.
Right on. I've got I'll send you the details because I'm still working them out. But Mark's coming back on for episode 4. He missed you. I missed you last time, so you have to be on for that one again.
Well, I have a new motherboard, which is also why my camera is more clear. I don't know what the relevance to that is, but it literally, I have better video quality with my new motherboard than I do now.
But that'll probably be in the next couple of days because he's got this weird work schedule. I don't know. He'll explain it to you on the next show. An engineer. But I'll hit you up with that, and then also I'm working with Olivia, and I'm going to have you and Olivia on at the same time, and we're going to talk.
Cool.
So we'll get the terrorist on with the black white supremacist.
The alt black lady.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Thanks, bud. This has been a good time.
Yeah, send me your stuff for your special project as well. So
yeah, absolutely. I'll get that sent first thing in the morning.
Cool. I'll catch you there, boss.